Thank you, Venom1000, for following. I guess I get $100,000 from RFK Jr. and Robert DeNiro. RFK Jr. and Robert De Niro offer $100,000 to anyone who can prove vaccines are safe. Shut up, Jordan Ellenberg. It's actually not that much money when you split it between 7 billion people who don't have polio. Don't tell them that. That's up to them to go to Robert De Niro and RFK Jr. for their $100,000. I want my $100,000. I got a whole ton of vaccines, and I'm doing just fine. I got my polio vaccine, and I've never gotten polio. I've gotten diphtheria, tetanus, mumps, measles, rubella, HPV. I got the whole thing. And you know what? I've never gotten mumps, rubella, HPV, polio. Never got any of that shit. And I could explain the science as to why. But just the fact that I have gotten all these vaccines and I'm still here at my age and have never gotten any of these diseases, I want my $100,000, Robert De Niro. Pay up. Mama needs a new car. Mama needs a new front tooth. Mama's getting kind of behind on her rent. So I could use $100,000. A little old, but unfortunately true. No, not unfortunately true. They said it, and I want my $100,000. Back when anti-vax was a counterculture thing and not a conservative thing. I miss when it was just the hippies. That actually really fucked with my head the first time I encountered it. I hadn't gotten the memo that it was a fringe conservative thing, so I assumed it was still a new age hippie thing. So the first time someone hit me with all that anti-vax shit, I knew they were a conservative. So I started laughing my ass off. I thought they were doing a bit and making fun of their adversaries. Turns out they were just insane. There's a term for it called conspirituality, which is a direct party from spirituality and wellness to conservative conspiracy theories. One of the big yoga product companies, Gaia, formerly Gaiam, is way in on this. They have an entire production house and streaming service for wackadoodle conspiracies. They are HQ down the street from my house, and a coworker worked there pre-COVID and said it was a weird group of people. Conspirituality. Unfortunately, the New Age movement is rooted in old conservative conspiracies and is a great pipeline to the alt-right. What isn't a pipeline to the alt-right? What the hell are you talking about? How did he prove the claim? It's impossible to prove the claim. No, it's not. See, that's the problem. I don't care if they buy it or not. It is definitely proven that vaccines save lives. We have the science. What you're talking about is them moving the goalposts because they don't want to believe that it's true. So any proof you give them, they're not going to accept. No, that's not good enough. We do have the proof. Hell, I'm the proof. I'm the living proof that vaccines work. So I want my 100K. Yes. No matter what, nothing will change their mind. And you'd have to establish a reasonable standard of safety. Semantics battles. You know, that's a low amount to offer even in 2017 dollars. Florida is already bringing leprosy back, so smallpox is probably next. Well, they want everything to be just like it was back in the Bible, don't they? They probably want people to think the Bible is true. They could be bringing back fucking leprosy on purpose. Because the only time you ever hear of leprosy is in the Bible or on the streets of Calcutta. Stop calling it Twitter, says the guy who dead names his own child. I'm never gonna stop calling it Twitter. I'm not gonna call a social media site X. X is for porn sites. Doesn't sound right for social media. Because this guy wants to be edgy. Lauren Bobo, do you know who I am? Theater manager. Yeah, Sarah Palin with even less class. Did this really happen? It really did. Bobo was ejected during the Denver performance of Beetlejuice the musical over this weekend because she was raucous and vaping. Apparently, the people around her also wanted to enjoy the show, including a pregnant woman. The security video shows her flipping off the staff, and then the police appeared. She did pull the "do you know who I am" shtick. Oh, damn, he didn't say it? I totally would. I'd love to get a BJ just for the 10 minutes of silence. 10 minutes? You're lying as much as she does. Oh, he has to get hard over the first 9 minutes because it's Bobert. Back in her high school days, you probably didn't even have to ask. She also threatened to tell the mayor, like, what the fuck is he gonna do? She's an inspirational American to show that anyone can become a U.S. representative. Anyone. You know, I do have to mention that in Bill Maher's documentary Religulous, there was this really embarrassing scene where he was interviewing a senator who told him, "You don't have to pass an IQ test to be in the Senate." And then his face just, it's not even saying that. Okay, it is a position that you get voted into. Any citizen can run for public office, but it's this look on his face after he realized what he said. It's just the most embarrassing, not very bright look on his face. Even though it is true and it's not supposed to be about real book smarts or IQ to become a public representative. And it doesn't have to be. It's more like, good. So you don't need to pass an IQ test. So your heart has to be in the right place. You have to have the best of intentions. You have to want to do things to improve your constituents' lives. But, of course, Bobo and MTG and all these shit-ass politicians, people know politicians are synonymous with scumbags. It's just something people know in this country. Nobody has any real faith in politicians at all anymore. Elections are just a matter of voting against who you don't want to be in office, more than voting for somebody you definitely do want to see in office. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't vote for Biden, and I won't be voting for Biden again because I love Biden. I wanted Bernie Sanders. If Elizabeth Warren ran, I might vote for her. If AOC ran, I would vote for her. No, I voted for Biden, and I will vote for him again because I will never, ever vote for a Republican. Lewis Black, the famous comedian, once said, and he is so hilarious when it comes to talking politics and politicians and everything. He once said, the Democratic Party is a party of no ideas, and the Republican Party is the party of bad ideas. And he's absolutely right. Democrats might have their corruption. They might get paid a fortune that they don't need to be paid. They might not really have any ideas or do anything super great to improve anybody's lives. But if you have Republicans in office, your life will get infinitely worse. Your life, and you will be able to see all of your rights trickle away. Just like we have been seeing since Trump, and still to this day. And during Obama, too. When they don't have a Republican as president, all they do is bitch and whine and complain. And when a Republican does get to the Oval Office, a Republican does lead the administration, just that alone, it's like every time it happens, this new crop of hateful, backward, Christo-fascist, racist, sexist, misogynist, anti-gay, anti-woman, anti-rights people become emboldened and act like they rule the fucking world. Then people come to their senses and a Democrat will get voted into office as president, and all those previously emboldened people will start bitching and whining and crying. And it won't stop until a Republican becomes president again. And I'm kind of sick of it. I just want all these motherfuckers out of office entirely. Hell, I wish we could do it, just to test out how much better things would get. Because you want to know something that's really, really interesting? Somebody was saying, we need somebody else running under the Democratic flag. Biden is too old. He is too out of touch. He is too ingrained in politics. Over too many years he's been involved with public office, and he's not performing miracles. So we need somebody else. We need somebody younger. We need like an AOC type. We need somebody hipper. Somebody a lot more openly liberal. Somebody with spunk and pizzazz who's willing to be cutthroat like the other side is, but for the right reasons. And it's like, no. No, let's not do that, because that will just split our vote. Right now, I'm really, really giddy, and if I had a dick, I'd be hard giddy over the fact that several states have already they're thinking about not including Trump on their ballots in the next presidential election because, he violated one of the very important amendments. I think it's the 14th Amendment. He's responsible for being a traitor to his own country. And so he is technically, legally barred from running for president. So they don't want to add his name on the ballot. They want somebody else to be running for president as a Republican against Joe Biden, who will most likely run again for president. Or I think he is, And it's really funny because I said, you know what? I don't care which way it goes. Actually, maybe it would be good, although I don't know. There are Republicans out there, there are conservatives out there that don't like Trump and know that he's bastardized the party and he's made a mockery of them, more of a mockery of Republican conservatives. And I really don't care. If he does run again, I don't think the amount of Republicans that hate him will be enough that he wouldn't get elected again, but If somebody else were to run on the Republican ticket, or if these states don't add Trump's name to the ballot, then that's actually good for us, because some of these idiots, a lot of these idiots, these MAGA fucks, will write in his name. They'll write in his name, and if he's removed from the ballot because he cannot legally be president anymore, and these states are going to stick to that, then their ballots will mean dick. They will just be putting a name on a piece of paper for no reason, because it will get balled up and thrown away. And then other Republicans may refuse to vote at all because his name won't be on the ballot, and some of them will vote for the other guy that was nominated to run. And that's what I'm talking about. Make it so that we split their vote. All the easier. You know, to get our guy elected. And you want to know something else that's really cool? What I think is cool is that someday, and I've said as much on Twitter, someday when we have an overwhelming progressive majority in the Senate, in the House, presidential cabinet, the whole administration goes just blue, and then all these Christo-fascist people are shoved out of office. All the GOPers who are paid by these Christo-fascist backward conservatives are thrown the fuck out of office. We get rid of a whole shit ton of them, and the amount of conservative Republicans in our government is minuscule. Then, and hopefully this can happen in my lifetime, then we could actually see presidential elections where the choice is between a Democrat and a Democrat, or a Democrat and an independent, or maybe even independent versus independent. Could you imagine living to see those types of elections where conservatism, conservative Republicans, the religious right, these batshit, insane, backward people and their special interest groups become a very small minority, that they've got almost no voice in government, like so many other people went without a voice? I hope I live long enough to see something like that. For all the people throwing a fit about the United Auto Workers' request for a 40% wage increase, that percentage was chosen directly off of the 40% increase in pay for the big three automaker CEOs. When workers demand fair pay, there's an uproar, but no one bats a fucking eye when executive pay skyrockets. Oh dear Robert Reich, how I love you so. Absolutely correct. We have the same issues in Australia. Executive salaries increase by multiples of hundreds. Workers get screwed. Join a union. I heard Australian unions can't strike. The U.S. isn't that far off. I was so disheartened when the railroad workers were prevented from striking. What a complete shame. Especially considering they were striking for basic amenities like sick days. See, somebody needs to explain that to me like I'm 5. I don't understand that shit. That's the point of a strike. Nobody tells you not to do it. You think anytime you want to hold a strike, people that you're striking against are going to be happy about it? That's the point. The point is to upset. The point is to show them what happens when you don't get even one iota of fair treatment in your job. These people want fucking sick days. That alone would be enough to strike. And I understand they have a very important job. Then I guess you better meet their demands, shouldn't you? I guess they have you over a barrel, don't they? Not the other way around. That's the point of a strike. People say it every day, too. People do not realize, they simply don't realize how much power they hold. The majority holds the power, not the vast minority. This country grinds to a halt without its essential workers. Unless you have people to pick the crops and drive the trucks and run the trains and work at your grocery stores and make sure you have clean water, all that essential service product kind of stuff. This country stops completely. Nobody gets fed, nobody gets heat in the winter, nobody gets cool air in the summer, nobody gets clean water, nobody gets transportation. No stores in any towns or any cities anywhere get stocked with food and supplies. The whole chain stops completely dead. There is no chain anymore. And that's the reason you fucking strike. I mean, in theory, that's how simple it is. Oh, these are all people who can get whatever the fuck they want. I feel lucky that they weren't striking for the same amount of money CEOs get paid. I'm surprised these people aren't striking for $1 million bonus every year. I'm surprised they're not striking for 1 month of paid sick days a year and at least 3 weeks paid vacation, or name their price, whatever the hell they want. If you don't have these people, you don't have a business. You don't have services. That's just how it works. These people will know how to run things without the CEO. These people will be able to do their jobs and, they should have no problem getting paid better without the CEO and his wallet. You can't function without them. It's sad. Government employees are not allowed to strike since Reagan. When the air traffic controllers went on strike and shut down every airline. Everyone else can strike, but from what I understand, no one can strike in Australia no matter what, and they especially can't do a general strike. The hell they can't! That's a nice way of saying you're so essential you can never go away, so yeah, don't strike. We can continue to pay you like shit and treat you like shit because we said you're not allowed to strike. Go ahead and fucking strike. That would actually be the best example of what I'm talking about. The reason why you strike. And if you don't want them to strike, I guess you're going to have to meet their demands, aren't you? They would be, you know, holding all the chips. You're not. It's like if the medical profession decided to go on strike. You know, they could do that at any time. You get enough of them together, these are people who could get anything they want. Even more important that they get everything they want, because you cannot function at all without them. You cannot function at all without a lot of people. And, of course, these people, they still listen to them. You're not allowed to strike. You don't seem to get what a strike is about, do you? And they listen. They don't strike. Teachers can strike. Government employees can strike, if not a part of the federal government. And meanwhile, some public sector employees should not be organized. Cops, I'm looking at you. Yeah. The one union that actually does anything. The one profession where strikes and walkouts and demands are always met. That are also government-paid employees. People that work for the state, that get paid with your tax dollars. The cop union. That's the one union where those workers get everything they want. These people fucking murder people and get away with it because they got the backing of their fucking police union and all their sycophants. Fucking teachers have to use their own money to buy school supplies. Postal workers go nuts and shoot everybody at work. Freaking waitresses serve tons of people. They get like $1 tip at a table of 12. All kinds of people in all kinds of different sectors. All the shit they put up with. And the shit pay they get. A lot of these people, I was an essential worker during COVID. I didn't get no hazard pay. I didn't get no bonuses. I didn't get any tips. I got a t-shirt. And rich celebrities on commercials singing songs about what a hero I am. They just don't want to show it by doing things that would actually help those essential workers. And of course, once COVID was over, we went back to just being little peons. But that's how it works. But the policemen's union, there's a strong union. There's a group of people you can never say anything bad about. So well protected, they'll kill ya. Oh no, Butthead is back. The evidence against Joe Biden is overwhelming. A first-year law student could win this case for impeachment before a fair jury. Unfortunately, the United States Senate isn't a fair jury. It's full of fashion icons like John Fetterman. Government shutdown in T-minus 16 days. Instead of crying about how I dress, how about you get your shit together and do your job, bud? Ha 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 ha. Oh my God. Gotta love that Fetterman. Someone ought to tell Butthead over here. Thomas Jefferson used to show up to meetings in his pajamas. Yeah, so if there's so much evidence, where is it? They just posted them. Exhibit 1, trust me. Exhibit 2, no, seriously, bro, trust me. Exhibit 3, the smocking gun whistleblower is waiting. Exhibit 4, we can't locate the whistleblower. Exhibit 5, the whistleblower is a foreign agent wanted in their home country for illegal acts. Exhibit 6, we need more time to find something. We don't care if it's actually evidence of anything so long as we're still fishing, inquiring, and raise some amount of suspicion. Exhibit 7, Hunter's laptop. Exhibit A, see Exhibit 3. Exhibit A should be, wow, big dick everyone needs to see. Exhibit 9, do your own research, you leftists. You're just sheep to the MSM. If you do your own research, it's easy to find the evidence. You know what? Anybody, and it's always these assholes on the right, anybody that just tells you do your own evidence is somebody that doesn't have any evidence. It's somebody that got their information from a friend of a friend on Twitter or Facebook. They tell you to do your own research, which is another way of saying, I don't know, I looked here and I saw this and I read that and this guy knows this guy that said this or that or the other thing, and it's out there, so just go look and you'll see what I saw. No, if you have evidence, you would say so in a clear, concise manner. You would be able to give them a source. Where did you look up this information? Where is it from? Who posted this information? Just do your own research. I think they're mad Hunter Biden could make money if he did a male OnlyFans, and they can't. Is mayonnaise an evidence? They're playing ridiculous semantics games that their incurious supporters won't even notice. The other day, McCarthy said, allegations show a clear pattern of criminal behavior. Notice the use of the word allegations. You can allege anything you want about anyone. The problem is they don't have any evidence to back up the allegations. But to your common Republican, they'll vomit out, there's a clear pattern of criminal behavior, and think that there is something that must back that statement up. Yeah, I could allege that McCarthy is a 3,000-year-old vampire with ties to the Yakuza. Is it believable? Of course not, because a gangster vampire is not going to be afraid of a Sasquatch. Cute. Oh God, and Bill Maher. You know, I don't know if anyone else has noticed. I'm sure people have noticed. Um, Up until this last season, I was an avid weekly viewer of Real Time. Uh, Only thing is, over the past 2 or 3 years, I started to get really suspicious of Bill. And I started to get more and more bored and more pissed over shit he was saying. At first, I didn't really mind because it was just a little bit here and there, but now it's like a lot of these people are right. Okay, he's turning very right wing in a lot of things. A lot of subjects, he's sounding a bit too conservative. And it's very unlike Bill. And now, because of the writer's strike, the show has been off the air. Well, you know he has writers helping him with stuff, but he's still supposed to be a comedian. That's how he started. He was a comedian. And now, because of the writer's strike, he is saying that there's not going to be new rules. There's not going to be his monologue. There's not going to be his epilogue. There's not going to be any of the little breaks with the photoshopped images and the comedic news breaking stories that he has in the middle of his panel discussion. Well, you are a comedian, Bill. You were just off for over a month. More than a month because of the strike. Because it's during the summer. You can't put together your own new rules. Your show is once a week. Hell, if I could make a fortune, if I could amass some following right here on Twitch, and all I'd have to do is an hour program or a new rules segment once a week, I would be dedicating every spare moment to that new rules segment, just to make sure I had it perfect for Friday. But now he wants to come back but not do that stuff because all of his show's writers are on strike. And he doesn't like that all of his show's writers are on strike. The goal is to not see race at all. That's what liberals always believed going back to JFK, everybody MLK. The woke believe race is the thing you should always see everywhere, which used to be the position of the KKK. Bill Maher can't be this fucking stupid. The liberal goal was never to deny reality. It was to remove stigma and lack of opportunities from that equation. When people bitch about others being woke, I ask them to define what woke means. Inevitably, they can't do it, and go on tangents about how people want special treatment and want to complain about society or whatever. Woke means that you're aware systematic injustices exist in our society, and you want to do something about that so everybody gets better opportunities. What the fuck is so awful about that? What's so awful is that there are people out there that don't want that. Don't you fucking get it? They don't want that shit. Look around you. Look at the shit the right's trying to do right now. Of course they hate woke. Of course they're gonna try to vilify woke. Woke means that you can't use racist terms against black people anymore. Woke means you have to accept LGBTQ people like they're actual human fucking beings. Woke means that women reserve the right to say no. And they don't like that. There are people in this country that don't like that. That's what's wrong with it. People want to beat their wives. People want somebody else to spit on. People want an other group that they can feel superior to. Some people, they have religious reasons for feeling this way. Just parental reasons for feeling this way. Peer reasons for feeling this way. Or they just have mental illness and a low IQ. They're not smart enough to think any other way. That's what's wrong with it, dude. There was a reality show on Bravo where a bunch of rich white women kept claiming, "We don't see race," until the black woman on the show said, "If you don't see race, then you don't see me." And they all looked dumbfounded. Such a great, simple point. It's not about acting like you don't see someone's appearance as being different, so therefore you can't possibly be racist. It's about knowing we are all different, but that it's perfectly fine and what makes the world better. Exactly right. We should celebrate our differences and acknowledge their history, both good and the bad. If that is his response, by his definition of wokeness. Uh-oh.
Hey, baby.
Hey, I'm streaming.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Bad baby butt. If that is his response by his definition of wokeness, most people of color don't walk around thinking color shouldn't be acknowledged or ignored. People of color don't ask for special treatment, but point out how we have been treated differently in less than flattering ways, and it appears our skin color plays a part in how we are treated. We don't care whether or not you learn about African American history, because we're aware of what happened. What's offensive is the attempt to whitewash our nation's tainted history. To teach the truth, whole truth, and nothing but, even if it hurts feelings and makes some feel uncomfortable. The truth hurts sometimes. Jack Nicholson found out his older sister was actually his mom. That fun fact may have caused his head to stir, but didn't kill him. Did he have to learn this? Perhaps not, but hiding it would accomplish what? Well, if you can pretend not to see color, you do not have to acknowledge racism, since without color, it can't happen. Bill Maher is a stupid fucking asshole who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. When you're a smug bullshitter, it's easy to pretend that because you don't have to actually defend your position because it's indefensible. Just repeat the same lies like it's settled fact. It then makes a bullshitter like him seem smart because he's so self-assured. Not for nothing, I don't know if this guy is really a long-time viewer of Bill Maher's. I personally don't think he's watched Maher's show for a long time. Bill has always been that way. Even when he's on other people's shows, he's that way. Even when he was the super liberal Bill, or he was doing politically incorrect, and he got that show canceled. That's the reason he has Real Time now. Politically Incorrect got canceled because he gave a cold, hard truth about 9/11 and the hijackers that went completely against what everyone saw as American back then. He was, and I guess to a point still is, left wing. He's very progressive and everything. But even then, years back, decades back, Bill was always like that. He always appeared smug. He always made his dumb little smug comments. He would say things with complete confidence like they're facts. And you know what? He didn't have to worry about what people thought of that because they were facts. Okay, Bill, the same reason that he's not going to do all this extra shit on his show, if it comes back on the air during the writer's strike, he had these people fact check this shit for him. And a lot of it, I know, was at least Maher's sentiment. But of course, it's an HBO show. Every guest on that show, and every single one of them writes a fucking book. He reads the book in preparation for the show. He does a lot of delving into all this shit. For the most part, he definitely does know what he's talking about. He reads a lot. He listens a lot. He discusses a lot with all kinds of, not just randos on the web. He speaks with authors and former politicians and current politicians and politicians from other countries and journalists and Pulitzer Prize winners, professors, everybody that could bring some truth to the table on his show. But that smug demeanor has always been there, even when he speaks candidly, like on his podcast, or when he's tweeting. He still has the smugness, but, and that's why I've seen it on Real Time. It's been growing over the past few years, but that's when you can really get the best idea of what Maher and people like Maher are about. You can't just watch the show where things are scripted and fact-checked. You've got to watch the podcast, or maybe even on the podcast, maybe he's got some of his writers there or friends from the show. You don't know. But Watch him and listen to him when he's on an interview, when he's on somebody else's show, when he's discussing things without the cards in his hand. Then you'll get an even better idea. I care that we aren't being taught the histories of everyone who isn't a straight white Christian man. So many of us have made contributions and played significant roles in history. You cannot understand the world without understanding that. Well said. Even straight white Christian man history is wrong. Look at the Alamo. I've pissed off many a good Texan pointing out the truth, that Texas got its ass beat by two different countries, both times over states' rights, and amazing how whitewashed American history is. What's funny is he's using the word woke, which is bastardized by Republicans using it as a racist dog whistle, because they'll use it however they want. Of course they will. They have to try to tarnish the word. That's what bastardizing the language means. Huh. Don't like black people in your movies? Call the movie woke. Don't like women as the lead in a TV show? Call it a woke TV show. He pulls a scab and resumes the show. Yeah, I wouldn't do the show at all. The right co-opts any word to describe anything they don't like, or impedes their ability, I think you mean, to openly discriminate anyone of any population they have an issue with. Kind of like they twisted the meaning of the word socialism to describe anything going against their sensibilities. I guess communism just wasn't working as a boogeyman anymore. You want to know why communism isn't automatically jumped to by the right? I haven't heard anybody say this yet. I'll probably just put it in a tweet. But, communism was the bad word Republicans used back when we were supposed to hate Russia. Because Russia was the sworn enemy of the United States because they were commies. They grew up, these boomers, and even the generation before them, saying they hated the commies. And Russia were the commies. Now, the GOP and the far right absolutely love Russia. It would seem kind of fucking stupid for them to use communism as a bad word towards Americans while they're licking Russia's asshole. And that's probably why they're very careful to use the word socialism. And that's saying a lot. I'm being nice when I say this here, because most right-wingers, including certain people in office, probably most of them in office, let's be honest here, wouldn't know the difference between communism and socialism or Marxism. Some of them don't even understand the difference between the word democracy and the word republic. They'll argue the meanings of words they don't know the meanings of. I don't know. Anyway, I have to do a callback and I want a Starbones. I'm just here because I haven't checked in quite a few days. And I appreciate the new follows. Hopefully I'll get some more. Anyway, I'm sure you'll all see me later with more World War Z. So, mwah.